welcome to Big Bun Game Club. We're here, the many saints of Connecticut. This is like the prequel to.
Wouldn't it be the many saints of Hartford?
Well, we don't have to get that specific. No one cares about Hartford. I mean, it's a forgettable city.
What do you mean? It's the capital.
Yeah,
we just had a marathon.
That's all people know about.
People came from all over the country to go to the Hartford Marathon. All over the world, really.
Yeah, but how many people talk about that? I mean, more people talk about the Boston Marathon and the Tour de France, whatever that is.
Yeah, where's the Tour de France?
it's in Washington. There you go. Obviously.
Okay. So we're the many saints of Connecticut.
Yeah. I watched that movie and I wish I could remember a quote just to integrate to here, but
was it worth watching?
I've never seen The Sopranos.
Oh, really?
So it's like,
why did I think you already watched it?
I don't know. Like I think my dad might have seen it and he liked that show because he loved the intro to it. It's like he has that like and it goes through like the highway. It's like he loved it because he'd always drive to Baltimore for everything. So it's like you always think of that.
So did he like The Wire then?
Yeah, he did. He did. I think he either liked it or he was the one that wanted to watch it, and I don't know if he stuck with it or not. It was either that or my brother, my dad bonded with him about that. Yeah. I don't remember. The Wire was like so long ago.
Great show. Definitely should watch it. I rewatched it really recently, and it was fucking awesome.
A lot of people hate the Many Saints of Newark, though.
That's what I've been hearing, and like I didn't really like The Sopranos that much. Like I appreciate that it's a good show, but like I'm not like, oh, it's so amazing, I want to watch it again.
I think I was watching this documentary called the 2000s. I think it was the 2000s or the 1990s. This is a documentary series that CNN has been doing every 10 years.
Oh, okay.
For every decade. So they talk about The Sopranos, and I think a lot of the main reason why a lot of people like love The Sopranos and they hold it at such a high regard is because it was one of the first shows that set the tone for adult television. Like it was
right.
It kind of was a trailblazer.
It was like almost like a movie.
Yeah.
Like every episode was like a movie. Almost.
And then after that, every show wanted to kind of capture that same lightning. And now it's with Breaking Bad. Everyone's like, there was this a sketch show called Portlandia that did kind of a sketch about like how every show has the same gritty opening. And it's like exactly. This is the same kind of nonsense.
But that's how everything goes. Like once something is successful, they imitate it until it gets tired, right? It's like, but it's like people should just do their own shit. But whatever.
But I like the Many Saints of New York. I think the only things I thought the storytelling was kind of confusing. It just kind of meandered. So it's like, okay, like it was hard to care for a lot of the scenes. It was like I liked the setting. As a period piece, it was great. I liked the setting and all that stuff. But it's just I don't think the story is that consequential for anything. Like it's just. I like prequels that kind of play with your expectations. Like Better Call Saul is you think, oh, it's gonna be about Saul Goodman doing shit. It's like no, it's actually gonna be about Jimmy McGill and all this other drama surrounding that. It's like, oh, that's actually interesting, and it's like not what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. This one, it feels like it's just like okay, like Tony's just chilling in the background. It's like I appreciate that it wasn't focused on Tony. Like I do like that, but it just kind of feels like then. That he shouldn't have had as much screen time as he did at the same time. It's he's just kind of there. Then they just show all these shots, but it's like if he's not the focus, then why bother?
How long is the movie?
It's like 2 hours, I think.
Maybe I'll watch it.
It's the only thing I did like was that the director said that he didn't want to make it like a movie. Like he wanted to feel like a special episode of The Sopranos. Right. I think that's probably where it like succeeds. Mm-hmm. I do think that out of all the shows that come back as a renewal or a revival. It's one of the better ones where it's like it doesn't feel like it's a hack kind of like remember this. Oh, you remember this,
which is what I was gonna say is like maybe some of the reason you were like lost in the story is because like, you didn't understand what they were referencing.
Yeah, I mean I do want to watch the show, then go back to watch the Many Saints of New York, see how it changes.
You're gonna watch a 65 episode series to see how it changes your perception of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, the one I did want to watch the show anyway because all I remember was everyone hated the ending because it just ends on like it just cuts a sense off, which years ago, I was being a dumb kid, be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna watch the last scene on YouTube, see what this is about."
But it means nothing to you.
Yeah, I watched. I was like, okay, like it looks kind of cool. Like I kind of like the idea of just like, yeah, this happen. It's like, oh, but it's like, yeah, I don't know the impact if I watch the
you
whole
have no
show.
connection to any of these characters. You're like, who are these people?
Yeah, so I guess it was just like, I wonder what's gonna happen. It's like, it was like two failed experiments of just watching things. That it was just like whatever. But
my friend actually has a podcast where they do what you just said. They literally will just watch. They'll never have seen the show, and they'll literally just watch the last episode and then judge the show based on the last episode.
You know, I do enjoy. So that reminds me of this other like video I was watching from Mega 64. This guy who doesn't really watch anime at all. He would watch anime, but he would watch a random episode,
and then be like, "This sucks."
Like, he would just react to it. I think he'd also, on top of that, watch it muted, so you wouldn't hear anything, so he would just react to the video.
What a fucking weirdo.
It was such a weird video series that I don't think, like, went anywhere else. It just had, like, 4 videos, and they just kind of stopped doing it.
Kind of funny, though.
But, yeah, I like the idea of it, because I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is kind of funny. Just, like, even if I was in the, like, some of the stuff that he watched, I knew, so I was, like, watching what he was like, oh, this is kind of, like, what I'd expect. Because it does remind me, like, I was watching End of Ava, and I think my mom was in the room watching it, and she was, like, falling through the whole movie, and then she just wakes up at the part where everyone's, like, turned to orange goo, and it's like, Theo, what are you watching? It's like,
it would make sense if you saw it.
Yeah. You need to watch all 25 episodes, feel as miserable as Shinji, and just be like, what the hell's life? And that, which I was mentioning in the pre-show with that Ava watch party I was doing. It was a 10-hour stream, and it was that, and I ended up loving the movie even more by the I watched the whole movie and I was like, this movie's great because you could definitely tell that Anno had no roadmap for any of these movies. So everything just kind of happens, and it's like
just making it up as you go.
Yeah, and yet it all ties in fairly well. Like, there was, like, lines in the previous movie that's like, oh, this, like, has significance in the last movie. It's like that. So there's all this stuff that I just love, like, just watching stuff that's just, like, there's no roadmap, but there's, like, a faint connection with all of it. So there's that. All right, so let's get into Deltarune.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to hear what you have to say about this game, because you've never played Undertale, right?
No.
Do you know anything about it?
I know there's, like, 3 ways to play it: the genocide, passive, and normal, happy. I don't remember. I don't remember there's the genocide, the passive, and then there's something else.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then there's, like, a guy named Sans that just
everyone loves him.
Yeah, everyone memes on him. All this stuff, but I just want to say Toby's a hack. He ripped off. Okay, he ripped off Shin Megami Tensei because I was playing this game and I just kept thinking this is just like SMT3 half the time. Like, you could end battles just by talking. It's like, this is exactly like SMT3. Even Persona 2 does this. Like, you could just talk to an enemy and just be like, "All right, we're friends." Like, it has the same kind of like ideas, and it's like this is ridiculous. This is the only.
Does that make him a hack though?
Well, I mean, sarcasm aside, no. I mean, but. It is clearly...
The first one is an Earthbound ripoff.
Oh, thanks for the raid. Perez. With the party of 5. Perez. Undertale is a poor man's ripoff.
Poor man's ripoff of what?
Of Earthbound, because he says that it was a Earthbound ripoff. Yeah.
Yes, but Deltarune is not exactly an Earthbound ripoff.
Yeah, so I don't know how Earthbound plays either. I did want to play that game at some point.
It's pretty good.
It is on the Wii U, and I still have that, so I can just load it up on that. But Deltarune, the only thing I did like about the combat system, I do like that it has like a heart system where you just kind of dodge the attacks. That I really love.
Yeah, it's fun.
The music is good.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the characters, but a lot of people in the last video was talking about the story being like whatever, and I kind of agree. I kind of did not care for anything that's going on. Like, the dialogue is way too much of like I don't like it's just way too like trying to be funny and like yeah like oh man you're in a school and I don't have any chalk you gotta go it's like okay this is like humor that I just it's this deadpan kind of like Adult Swim humor I guess I don't know how to describe
I
it.
like so the reason it doesn't bother me is because it's not like wacky. Like you said, it's deadpan. So it's just like here it is. This is just how this world. This is how people speak in this world.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of humorous, but at least it doesn't like knock you over the head with it. Like
I do like that. There is some jokes that play into the gameplay. Like you
Yeah.
just do a battle, and then you see a sign that pops up says, "While you're doing that, put a sign here." It's like
Yeah.
oh, okay, that I like that kind of joke. But the one where it's like, "I got you to read a sign and it's empty," it's like, oh, okay, like.
But it's just like that's what I'm saying. It's like that makes me laugh just because it's so dumb. Because it's like it's just not. It's not like.
But I think I think what it is. I've played other games that have similar kind of humor, and that humor did enough for me in those games that seeing in not Earthbound, but on Deltarune, it's like I've seen it before, so I don't know. Like I will say it doesn't get in the way of anything, but it's just like it leads me to just not care for the characters. Like the only character I do kind of like is Susie, and that's it.
So how you Susie's the crazy one that
Yeah.
will eat your face. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like the game. Well, I don't want to get too far into my impressions yet, but it's like I don't think the story is supposed to be that meaningful, right? It's like the game literally takes. I think it took me 2.5 hours to get through the whole thing, like the first part. So it's like it actually did remind me of Persona 4 in some ways, just because like it does take about 20 to 30 minutes to get started.
Yeah.
But it's like it's only 20 minutes rather than Persona takes 6 hours. 6 hours to just start the game. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like at least like a lot of the fun things are like a lot of the dumb story things are done like through gameplay kind of.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's just an interesting presentation. Which makes me forgive it in a lot of ways. Oh fuck it, I'll just get into my kind of
Get right into it.
Because it's like this game reminds me of not reminds me of, but it's the same kind of thing as Killer 7, where the presentation is so important because it's like when you really break it down, it's like a fucking you. It's like a not a dating sim, but like you talk to people and you're solving little puzzles that really aren't that complex, but there's little puzzles around, and you're trying to progress through this world, and you go through a battle system that has this little like bullet hell. Like when you get attacked, you go through the bullet hell, like simple dodge the projectiles thing. If you take any of those elements and just made the game, like if you made the game just the bullet hell dodging, this is a shitty game. You know what I mean? If you just made it the adventure with the puzzles, sucks. If you just make it like the RPG like battle system, it stinks. But if you bring it all together, it like becomes this thing that's greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay.
In my mind, I mean, maybe you don't like it, but
I don't have like a strong opinion of it yet because I need to play more of it. I do think I'm right at the point where the game is probably just gonna start going. Like I just got Susie joined the party. I do like some of the puzzles, so it's like I could tell that it's like I'm still like at that part where it's just ramping up. Yes. And I'm glad that we're doing this, like once I get that far in. It's not like I was nervous that I was just gonna get to the part where you enter that black void. When you're ready
to
the
end of the game.
Well, no, like they seem to get shock, right?
Oh,
and then
right.
You go in the closet. I thought I was gonna stop there and then be like, all right, I'll just do this later.
It's only like 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and I was like afraid that's where I was gonna stop. You're like, all right, like you just go on about this, like, yeah, I walked to get some chalk, and then like that was it. It's like that would.
But I'm like, you just hated this game.
I at least had like enough of the combat system where I do like that it I do like the conversation stuff because it does remind me, as I said before, like SMT3 and Persona 2, because I love those games for having that, and it's like I do like that this game has a similar system with that. Yeah. Even though I think it does a little bit more because you could use the conversation segment in Deltarune to do like other attacks, like you could do pacify or whatever.
Right.
While in like SMT3, when you're talking to a demon, you're either trying to recruit them, get money, or an item or information. You're not really, you don't do a conversation to lead to another attack.
Yeah.
So I do like that this one kind of messes with that. But a lot of me was wondering, like, because I know Undertale does a lot of stuff that just kind of tallies what you're doing to determine what one you're getting. And I was like, playing this game, I was like, is there like something that matters? Like, should I be like worried about this and that?
That's what I didn't understand either.
But the game also tells you that there's no choice. Choice doesn't matter and all this stuff.
But I think they say stuff like that in Undertale too, and that's not true. Like, everything matters. But, like, I don't know about this one. I think this one is, especially because it's so short. Like, I read with the Wikipedia entry on it, and it said, like, literally, the guy who made it, Toby Fox, was like, this is a survey to see what people would think about it. So that's what he said. Okay. And I'm like, so it's like that created character thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you create this whole thing, which I spent way too much time on, especially because I was like, I spent so much time on it because I was like, are any of these options different?
It's funny you mentioned that because I did the same thing, but I did find, out of all the things that had a different presentation, it was the pants. If you go to the left,
pants were different. I thought the pants were all exact. I was like, these pants are definitely different. Well, the shirts, I'm not so sure, and the pants, I was like, these are all the same.
Well, they're not, because if you're looking like this way, the character's right leg would be bigger than the left. At the very end of the list, the left leg was bigger than the right.
Oh my
and that was the difference. So I picked that because it was like, this is the only one that has like a difference to it. And then it's like, okay, yeah, this is mattered.
I was like, what the fuck?
The one thing I did like was, so they said, like, what's the name of the character? I named it Cleo. Okay, who's the name of the creator? I was like, God. Because, like, I was just like, there has to be something, because there's no way you say the name of the creator and you're just going to think there's no Easter egg by naming God, so I just said, okay, God. Like, and
Did anything happen?
No. Oh. So I was like, maybe at the end. I don't know, but it's like, I do like the character creation, just how these like options don't matter, because it has been an epidemic with games lately where every game has character customization, and it's all like, I don't care. Like, I recently started the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and it's like, I don't care. I don't notice a difference. And it's like, all I want is just a character that looks good and doesn't look like a monster running around. And it's like, and it gets to the point where it's like, now I just want a character. This character creation, it just doesn't look pleasing, and then the character model just doesn't look great either.
I agree. It always looks weird. Like, ever since, like, even thinking about, like, I don't know why this is the first game that's popped in my head, but remember Tony Hawk's Underground?
Yeah.
Like, the created character always looks so out of place over all the other models, because it just doesn't, like, everyone else is like, okay, this looks like they're based on a real person. Yeah. And then your character comes in and he just, like, looks like an alien. And you're like, what the fuck? It's like, this alien is talking to Tony Hawk.
So I played Mass Effect 1, and it's like, every cutscene is like, I thought the character looked good.
And then you see it next to other models.
Yeah, but it's like, her eyebrows are like this. And it's like, alright, these monsters are killing. It's like, oh my god, what the hell is this? And you see, like, what's his name? Carl Weathers, and he's just like, oh, Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Can we trust them?
It's like some weird ass alien talking to Apollo Creed.
It's like, why? The only one that looks kind of nice was MGS5's character creation, but it's like,
yeah,
it technically didn't matter because you never see it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people hated the plot twist at the end of 5, but I loved it. I thought it was
Venom
great.
Snake.
Yeah, and like, sure, you could say it's dumb, but like, this is a franchise that had a guy walking on water because he had nanomachines. You have a guy that hypnotized himself to be liquid, and it's like, yeah, you have this, but this is where you draw the line. Like,
yeah, it's really just
because MGS5 is garbage. Retro, you haven't even played MGS5. I'm personally exited down that. I mean, I played it. It's fun. You pop it in, you sneak around.
When you really think about Metal Gear Solid as a whole, the story is fucking stupid. Like, not all of, like, the geopolitical war stuff around it is great, but when you get to the details of, like, what's being fought, it's some weird anime shit. It's like, get over it. It's, like, that's what it is.
It's funny because, like, even with, like, Death Stranding has a lot of good, like, story and, like, ideas, which is kind of prophetic with what happened last year. and this year, but it still kind of is a little too anime,
Yeah,
and a lot of stuff like. And a lot of people like criticize Kojima's writing of like female characters, and I think it has gone progressively worse.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah,
he was bad from the beginning.
Like that's why I said like MGS3 is like the last good game he like did a story for, because then you have like Quiet in MGS5. It's like okay, and then you have in Death Stranding you have a character named Fragile, and it's
I haven't played Death Stranding.
It's
so
dumb. Like the gimmick of it.
What is it?
So they have this rainfall in the game where like it ages everything, like it accelerates the aging of everything it touches. So this woman had this friend or partner that she was working for, found out that he was a terrorist or whatever. He's like, all right, well, we're gonna fuck your day up. So like he covers her head with like a bag so that head would not hit the rainfall. So she'd be like young, whatever. But her whole body would age like an elderly lady. So she'd be like an elderly lady. So hence the name Fragile. It's like, this is like way too on the nose and way too bland. It's like, oh okay, so like.
Again, no, that's the thing. All the character story in all the Metal Gear Solid, any Kojima games, is all anime shit.
Yeah.
But all the stuff around it is brilliant. Yeah. I would say.
And the other thing with Death Stranding, it gets so very convoluted by the end. It starts like on like loops and like
another Kojima thing.
Yeah, but it's like way too much. Like it's like even for him. Like it got to the point where I think he just put things together and got lost in what he was saying. It was like, yeah, release it. Like it's.
I'm going to play it just because I want to see how stupid it is.
I mean, there's an article right that says, I don't know if I understand the story.
I saw that. Is that real? I thought that was a joke. I thought it was like an Onion article.
I thought what he was meaning, like, oh, it's such like a interpretive story that you can take it as whatever. But it's like I played it and it's like, yeah, I don't think there's any like
any meaning can be subscribed to this.
Like there's some things that have meaning, like there's and just the scenes and what it's telling you, but it's like you could just take the ending out of the whole game and just show it. Like I could show you the ending right now. I
think you said this before.
You would have the same response playing the game.
Nothing. So it's different than Sopranos. Like The Sopranos, you don't watch that last part.
Yeah,
Death Stranding, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only thing you might be lost is just maybe the context of the relationship of each character, but I mean, yeah, I think in the beginning and the ending, it just kind of talks about like the relationships anyway. But it's an interesting story, but I just think like he needs someone to just rein him back, because I think like when you look at MGS 1 through 3, he had someone there that was also kind of going over his story as well, and just kind of like directing it.
The difference is back then they were like, okay, this is still a risk. We need to have some oversight. Yeah. But after that, it's like, oh, whatever. We'll just fucking do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, because because like even with MGS4, he had a co-director on that. It was him and the guy who did MGS3 as well, like who written that game. But he had like multiple people that were like involved with the story. After like 5, people just gave him way too much like power. Like, yeah, everyone loves Kojima. Just give him free reign.
He can hire fucking what's that guy's name that he hired?
Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah. I think the only thing with Kojima with Death Stranding, I will say, is I do like giving someone unfettered like freedom. Just let him do whatever the fuck he wants and just have it be that one game. But if they just let him just go crazy in every single game he makes, it's like
it's gonna suck. It's like Kanye West. Seriously, like Kanye West just makes insane shit because everyone's just like, whatever, it's Kanye West, let him make whatever he wants.
Yeah,
it just fucking stinks.
At some point, you're just gonna have to like be like, okay, get the leash back in here, just put him back on. I don't know. This is way too much.
They should have just let him make that Silent Hill game.
Yeah, because like that one at least had Guillermo del Toro like involved. That was
sick.
Yeah, and like every movie I've seen, I've gotten to every Guillermo del Toro's movie. I saw like the one with the fish that she wanted to fuck. I want to say it's Stillwater, but I don't think it's Stillwater. It's like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one. After I watched that, I was like, this movie's great. I love this movie. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to watch his other movies. I watched Pan's Labyrinth, Crimson Peak. I was like, all these movies are amazing. Like I've not found a movie of his that I'm like, whatever. Like, but I've watched all of them. I was like, these are like all fantastic movies. Like, I think Crimson Peak is my favorite though, but I am a sucker for like horror kind of aesthetic that it had, and it's like, oh, this is great. Like, I can't wait for this next movie, but I don't know what it is. I thought it was Antlers, but that's another.
Is that him?
No, I think he might have produced it.
Dude, I saw like
But-
5 commercials for that. What is that about? It's like, my dad's in the cage. He's not dead. I feed him things. And that's all. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
It was supposed to come out last year in April. Then, like, the pandemic happened. They just pushed it. They delayed it indefinitely. It's like, oh, okay. Like,
Was that because they just delayed it because they wanted to be out in theaters?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So now I don't know where it's gonna be, or if it's even still being a thing, because they could have just gone cold feet. Like, yeah, no one is gonna go back to theaters for this movie. Like,
Well, I mean,
and after seeing like Tenet not do very well, that probably did less motivation for people too, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie that didn't do good.
but aren't these movies doing well on streaming? Like, don't they
They
make just as
they
much
probably
money?
do, but they probably don't want to focus on that because it's like, I don't know, like the relationship with like the studios and the box office is very weird, because there's all these stories of like studios not wanting to deal with the box office anymore. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we just want, because like that happened out of all movies, like Trolls 2. They wanted to be on like on demand. It's like, this is a kids movie. We just want to have every family to see it. And this one movie there's like, if you do that, we'll never show your movies ever again, and you're gonna be
Fine.
blacklisted. It's like come on, it's like Trolls 2. And I think they stood their ground. It's like, okay, fine, ban us. We'll just put it on demand. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And after that, they did very well.
Right.
And then like the box office was like, okay, we can show your movie again.
Yeah.
Sure. It's like,
So back to Deltarune, right? Have you been killing people?
I've been doing like a mix, because. So this is the thing that's been kind of bothering me. I don't know how you get fucking experience. I thought it was
You
like,
have to kill.
I did that, and it says, okay, 0 XP, here's some money. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, also, like, maybe the font's weird, because it just looks like it's giving me 0 XP.
I have to think about this.
Because then when I, like, spare them, 0 XP.
You get 0 if you don't kill them.
Yeah.
Do you kill everyone? I think you have to kill everyone to get experience.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Like, okay, like you've done a one-on-one.
I might have done one-on-one. I might have murdered one-on-one, but I don't remember for sure, though.
Like, I went through. I didn't kill a single person. So
okay, so I'll try to kill one person. I've been kind of doing a mix. Anyway, it's like because like the combat is kind of fun. The only thing is that I don't know if like the enemies get any harder, or if it's like, because these enemies are just kind of like, all right, start a fight. All right, let's move on. It's like I just kill them so quickly.
yeah,
And it's like, I don't know if that's like, maybe this is like the introductory to get you warmed up with the combat, or it's like maybe it's supposed to be to give you the impression that it's easy. Then there's gonna be like a fight later on that's gonna be like, actually this is gonna be the difficulty, because I've seen that done in other games where. I think SMT3 also did this at one point, where they give you like easy enemies, and you think like, oh, I get the game, and then you fight the Matador. It's like, oh no, I don't. It's like, so I'm thinking that's what this is gonna be, where it's like, it's gonna be easy and then it's gonna get hard.
yeah. I don't know if it's because I played Undertale before, but it was very easy for me. Like this one, because like it's just like I knew the patterns of like what you have to, like the act command, like what you need to do to kind of make them sparable. So it was really easy, frankly, to get through. I got through the whole game. I mean, the whole first part. And it only took me 2.5 hours. So I mean, if you play it today, you'll probably finish it.
Yeah.
But like, what's my point? It's just like, I don't know. What I'm wondering is, based on the ending, there's got to be a different ending if you start murdering everyone. But I don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah. It is one of the games where I think like, I wonder if you beat it and then you go back to the beginning, you just do the character select, if that's gonna change.
I have no idea. I like kind of want to just play through part 1 again, because like I don't understand how they can make like even just parts of the story would have to be different based on if you're killing people.
Yeah.
and I can't say that without like I can't like elaborate without telling you what happens. But like it would make like every character would have to be different.
Okay.
So I wonder. I mean, if you're killing, I wonder what's going to happen. But the enemies do get harder. I don't know. It's just really weird. It's just
Dude, I fought the Lancer once, and that was like a very like quick fight. But that was like I don't think it was a true fight anyway, because he just kind of was like, "All right, I'm done," and then he just walks away. I do think I might like Deltarune a little bit more probably than Undertale, because Undertale was such a memed mainstream game where everyone just get like I couldn't get away from hearing about Undertale. Well, Deltarune is like no, I've heard less people talk about this game.
Well, I will say so. One thing that stands out to me, and I have to replay Undertale to say this for sure, but this game, at least this first part, is like way more scripted. Like,
Okay.
there's in Undertale, there's way more like segments where it's like they just let you on your own to do the gameplay, and like there's just like random battles and stuff. Well, not random, like it's the same kind of system where they have to see you and whatever. But like, there's much more freedom. Like this one is like, all right, here's one room, story segment. Here's another room, story segment. Here's another room.
So you said it was like a survey. I wonder if Chapter 2 is going to change that.
That's what I'm thinking. Part 2 is going to be much more. Like,
and then
free.
you're saying that there's going to be like 3 other parts.
I think he said 5 more parts.
Oh, 5
or,
more.
No. You're right. 5 total. 3 more parts.
Yeah.
3 more parts. So
that might be interesting to see if maybe it's gonna like mold into kind of some stuff from Undertale. But at the same time, like I think what's nice about Deltarune is that he's not falling back on just people love Undertale, let's give him more of this.
But it kind of is though. Like so, and you wouldn't notice this because you haven't played Undertale, but Undertale, you don't have a party. You only have a single character in it the whole time. This game, you have a party of 3. And something that I thought was super interesting, because I think this game automatically assumes, especially because you have a character, what's the name? Marcel? What's the other character's name?
There's Chris, Susie,
and I don't remember.
And then
Soriel.
Prince or whatever.
Yeah, the Prince guy. But that character is actively like, let's not kill people. We don't have to fight. But in Undertale, you have to make that choice on your own. But the interesting thing about this one is that Susie is actively trying to murder people. So you have a party member that's like fighting against you, almost. Yeah, which is kind of makes it interesting.
It's kind of funny though. I saw one fan art of Deltarune. It was the Prince guy and Susie. Like it was kind of like a romantic, like kind of fan art of whatever.
Shipping them.
Yeah, and it just seems like I have a feeling because the other thing, like there is this, like it's a whole opposites attract kind of idea. So I mean, they could get together. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. But I do wonder because I have picked up on that as well. And I was thinking like I could see like if you're doing more and more just killing is. I wonder if you like shun the other party member away at some point because
I have no idea how they would do it. It would have to be different though.
Yeah, but I'll take it further to see why it wouldn't work because the first time you see Susie, she immediately was about to kill you, and it's like, in this sense, it's like, okay, so there is some like antagonism there.
Yeah.
So like I could see like either as you go on this adventure, you're either gonna like bond with her and be like, yeah, fuck everything else, fuck it, and then the prince guy's like, what the fuck, dude? I thought we were gonna go peacefully. Then he could just go off and just do his own thing. But I guess we'll have to see because I don't know what carries over, what is being tallied, and all this stuff. Because there's all this data that it could even be collected that is not known or none at all. But
the funny thing is that we could be completely overthinking this, and none of it matters.
Yeah, because I think that's the other thing. Like Undertale might have spoiled a lot of people thinking like, oh, since this game is so open and free, that this game would also have the same level of freedom. So it's like you're expecting that same kind of thing just innately. And then when you actually play, it's like, well, this is going for something completely different, or it's doing something that's not the same. Like it might have a different scale or scope that Undertale was doing while this one isn't doing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and I like it's hard to tell, and it's hard to think of like thinking about like how the game is structured. It's hard to imagine how it would be different, especially because it's like part one leads into part two. Does that mean there's different starting points? I almost just want to look it up to see what it does. I might, yeah, because I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna play through it again.
I also kind of want to see what happens. Like I want to start Deltarune part 2 after 1, and then start a vanilla file on part 2 and see if there is difference. There are some games that will like call out like, oh, you have a save file or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if this would do that. But
yeah, I'm trying. What games did do that? Where it's like it would carry over your saves from
the bare minimum, I would say, was it was the Accuser franchise does that, but they give you items.
Yeah, it's not like a continuity thing, right?
I do want to say MGS3 did it, where it's like if you had an MGS2 file, you'd get the opening with the righted mask.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
But I think that might just be like you select I like MGS2 and the like.
You're right. Yeah, when you say I like MGS2. That's funny.
Which is weird because in Subsistence they had a I like MGS3 feature, and it's like you get nothing. I think the only thing I think is that it might give you like they did have like a demo theater where you can watch all the cutscenes. If you do like I like MGS3, you get like a peep show cutscene, which is kind of like it is what it's advertised as. Yeah. There's one scene though that's like I feel the in-game cutscene was more lewd than what was in the peep show, so it's like I don't know what was the point with this. But it also has like a Rykov scene, so it kind of like balances.
Oh, right.
It goes both sides of the aisle, but I think, yeah, I feel like there was a game that did that though, but I can't think of it.
I know. I'm drawing a blank too, but I know of games that do this. Fuck it. Yeah. So, how far in did you get? You only played like an hour?
Yeah.
Do you not like it?
I started yesterday, and then I just kind of stopped playing it. Because it's just, I like it. It's just, it's this kind of sprites. I don't really like. They don't really do much for me. Like I like. Not to say that I hate sprite games. I like a lot of them, but it's this kind of stuff that I'm just kind of like, whatever with.
Right.
Like, I like the SNES kind of sprites, the Darkstalkers, like Rift City Girls, like that those kind of sprites. But this is just like, I don't like the color palettes that much. It's way too kind of like nauseating almost.
Is it?
This not like it's not like I feel sick. It's more of just like I don't know why they use these colors that they chose.
Yeah, the dude just has a very particular style. I can't like put my finger on it, but like in everything, like from the music to the colors to the art to the dialogue, like to the gameplay, it's just a very, very specific style that could only come from this person's mind. And I like it. I appreciate. I think even though like I appreciate the attention to detail, even though it's like the sprites aren't detailed. There's a lot of detail in how they animate and how they like they contrast with the world and all that. But I could see now that you say that you find it nauseating, I could see why it's like because it is like a clashing color palette.
Yeah, and it's like it's just
and
like,
it's like
harsh,
really flat.
Yeah, it's a harsh black background.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't have to me a strong style. I think the style shows up better when it comes to like the story scenes and when things are like scripted in that kind of way. But when it comes to just the gameplay, it's like, well, no, I do like the world I'm in right now. I do like the I don't know. It's just it is one of those things where I can't really put my finger on.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, like,
but you don't like it, and I like it. It's weird. It's like
it's not even like because I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just I need to play more to really know where I land on it because it's just it was just at this time where just like I was playing other games. It's like I'll do Deltarune. I get for some reason I barely play my Switch, and I keep wanting to play more of it because I want to go back to Skyward Sword. I want to go back to like Metallic Child and all these other games. But it's like I want to go back to Lost Judgment, Yakuza. Like I've been doing these other games. It's like I should go back to.
Do you play it handheld or do you play it on TV or Switch?
I mostly play it on TV, but I've been doing it on portable sometimes. Like I did this more today. It was in the office room area.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just do some art and then just do some Deltarune at the same time. So I was just going between that. But yeah, I think right now it's just it's way too early for me to really have a strong opinion one way or the other. Because like I wouldn't say I dislike it because if I disliked it, I probably would not have any motivation to play it. Like I do want to play more.
Yeah.
Because there is like there's stuff in this game I like. It's just that I just don't know why. It's like I'm
It's
not
just
like
not
itching to play
connecting
it.
with you.
Yeah, like it's and I felt this way. I felt this almost the same way with like Wonderful 101 at some point.
Right,
So it's
right, right.
like I like a lot of this stuff, but it's like I don't. But there's something about this that I just really that's not clicking. It's not. It wasn't even the morphs that were the problem. It was like there's something else, but I just
I
couldn't
think
put
it's
my
the
finger
camera
on
angles
it.
for that game.
It's not even that. I think honestly what it was I would have liked to just have the normal combat like if you're not morphed to be good because they have this fight where you're going against Wonder Blue and it's like this fight sucks and it's like and Wonder Blue is like amazing. Well like he has a sword, you have a fist. It's like he fucking bodies you. It's like so that one is just like I'll just kind of just tank through it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like again, I compare.
Oh, you
this...
know.
Oh, god.
I forgot what I could compare it to. No More Heroes 2. I like the in No More Heroes 2 has a good like combat system. I do like the new blades, but the jobs I just did not like as much. I like the idea that they made him like as a sprite mini game instead of like just having this clunky 3D job system that was in the first game. But it was just the jobs that I had no desire to even do them. Aside from like, yeah, there's no entry fees in No More Heroes 2, so you can just turbo through the story if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that, in 1 and 2, 2 does give you some incentives to do them because you could do some training and all this stuff, but it's just the mini games are just not they just not connect with me as much as 1, and that's why like when 3 they had like the same like mini games just done in like 3D. I was like, hell yeah, finally. This is like the job I want. These are the jobs I want. They have like a bottle collecting mission where there's alligators, so you can just do sumo, like a suplex on them if they get in the way, whatever. So it's like this cool like style that's in there. Well, 2 is just like it's more like style but no substance. Well, like 1 and 3 had substance with the style.
Yeah, I think that's unfair to say about this game.
Well, I'm not saying it's like no substance, but it's just like No More Heroes 2. There's just something about it that like makes me think of those mini games, but it's not as like tedious. I guess it's just more just like.
Well, I would again compare it to Killer 7 because I think for both of those games, the presentation of how they bring all the elements together is what make it good. But it's like you're playing Killer 7, but you're someone that cell shading makes you nauseous.
Yeah.
So it's like one whole dimension of the like something that makes Killer 7 so beautiful is the cell shaded graphics. But if you don't appreciate that, then you're gonna be like, I don't like this as much.
It's gonna be. I heard that a lot with Killer is Dead. That's Killer is Dead is another like cell shaded.
Yeah.
It's almost more like intense than Killer 7. It's a much more intense version of it.
Yeah.
But
Killer is Dead was so not memorable. I beat it and I don't remember anything that happened. I don't even remember how the game plays. I remember it just being a really mediocre hack and slash, if I'm remembering correctly.
It really is kind of. I kind of liked it, but I felt it was a little bit too convoluted for its own good. I also thought that the story was just way too ridiculous. Like, it's just there's like a line that says like there's some truth in speculation, and it's like that's like the most meaningless sentence that I've ever heard. It's like, and it's just a lot of stuff like that where it's like just nonsense where it's like nothing means anything. Like they have all these like ideas that are just there and they never really come together. And it's like
Yeah.
it just feels like he had a story and it just couldn't, and something just was preventing him from finishing the story from what it was supposed to. Because it just felt like that they had a different ending planned, and it's like we can't end it.
Yeah, I literally have no idea. I remember there's like some guy, you're like a mercenary, and some guy's like, okay, go to this person, assassinate them, go to this person. And there's something to do with the moon or something.
Yeah.
Don't you like slice the moon in half at the end of the game or something like that?
Yeah, it's really it's odd. The only thing I liked was there was an episode that you got that I think it was DLC or a pre-order DLC where you go through a castle and it's like vampire shit, and it's like that I loved. It was like, oh, this is like rad. I just love vampire shit.
Okay.
So it's like this is like
so you're
the
like
best
big Twilight fan.
Oh, you can leave. I think that'll be it for Game Club, guys. You'll just get me from now on. I mean, so you're gonna say like Castlevania is just like Twilight? It's like, oh man. Jeez.
I was just kidding. Wait a second. What's your favorite Castlevania game?
Man. It's gonna sound lame, but I really like Lords of Shadow. I know that's not much of a Castlevania game at all.
I was gonna say, because
I liked it because I liked the story and I liked how it. I love the lore of Lord of Shadow a lot, where it's like, yeah, you play as Gabriel Belmont. He becomes Dracula. It's like,
yeah,
this is rad. Like,
but wait a second. Because I'm pretty sure you've told me you've never played Symphony of the Night, right?
I started it and then I got lost, and then I fought a boss, and then the boss killed me, and I was like, all right, I'll do this another day.
Symphony of the Night is the shit.
I liked Rondo of Blood. That one I liked.
I've never played that one. I want to play that.
The music is fucking rad. I played it again on PS4, and I made it further than I did on the PSP, and I was like, man, this game is so good. And then I just kind of like moved on after that. It's like that one I want to beat. That one I don't
on PS4. They have it for?
Yeah, because I think they put it in a collection.
Good to know. Because I don't think it ever came out in North America on like it didn't come out for like PlayStation or anything.
I think it came out for PSP.
Yeah, which is who fucking has one of those?
It was kind of funny because that was when I first played it. I was like, yeah, this is rad. The music was also available to buy, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then after that, the music was removed from the iTunes store. It's like you can't find like. It really felt like Konami went around wiping that soundtrack from every single store imaginable. It's like you couldn't even find that soundtrack. It's
so
like,
strange.
Yeah, it's like this is free money, and then
it's probably some rights issue.
Emily, it's always licensing with music. But then they re-released it, I guess, at some point because I found it again. I was like, oh, this is great, and then I listened to it. Like, but I like Lord of Shadow. Lord of Shadow 2. There was a video I watched that was talking about the making of that game, and it's funny because even the developers were like, yeah, we thought the sneaking missions were fine. It really wasn't that prevalent in the game, and a lot of reviewers focused on the sneaking missions, and they're like, yeah,
they sucked.
Yeah, and he's but at the same time, as he said, that's like, you know, in hindsight, we should have toned that down. Like it wasn't like, yeah, you guys just are being bullies or anything. That was more just like they weren't that much, but I could see why people did not like it. So at least it was like that they knew that they wouldn't do it again. If they could remake it, they would probably not have those segments at all.
It's like you ever have a good night, and then all of a sudden something happens at the end that ruins everything. You only remember the thing that ruined your night.
Yeah, but I think honestly, the final boss fight was garbage. Like not the fight itself, but what. Because you fight Satan in the first game, you're like, all right, Satan's dealt with rad, and then this game it's like. Satan again, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, and it's like, but this time he's in Alucard's body. It's like, okay. Like, and then, like, you fight him, it's like, alright, so are we gonna have a real fight with Alucard since he wants to kill you? No, it's like, oh.
But that's why it's like, who gives a fuck about video game stories? Just fucking make it cool.
I don't, it's not even the story, was that big of a deal at that part, but it was just like, they kept building up. Alucard hates Dracula. He's gonna kill him. He's gonna fight him. It's
but
like
he's really possessed by Satan.
Yeah, and then like, and then you think after you fight this, like, there's gonna be like a true fight, and then it's like no, it's like we can't have an honest fight because Because like even when you're fighting Satan, like Satan this did Satan shit to Alucard's body, so you're not really fighting the real Alucard. You're just fighting like Alucard with like Satan steroids, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not really fighting Alucard's like moveset. You're not fighting his like skill or anything. You're just fighting Satan, pretty much. It's like this is just dumb. Like, and it's not even. Lord Shadow just had a lot of like bad ideas, and the other thing was that it was so misleading. The demo they gave for people to play was, oh, you're doing the castle siege scene. It's like, oh yeah, wow, this is rad.
And then you're getting swamped the rest of the game.
No, it's not even. That's the first game.
Oh,
and the first game, like, the first game, I would argue is is at least honest with what you're getting. Like that game didn't hide the fact that you're in a swamp and you're in ice areas or whatever. The second game, it's like, all right, here's a trailer, castle shit. Okay, here's the demo,
played the
castle
shit. Now that I think about it.
Huh?
I don't think I've played the second one. Now that I think about it. What
No.
happens in the second one? Like what's the areas like?
Oh, trash. You're going through factories, trains in the modern day.
Sounds stupid.
Yeah, it really is like someone played Resident Evil. It's like I love Resident Evil. We should put this in
Castlevania.
I think the idea was nice. Castlevania in the modern setting, but it doesn't do anything with that setting other than factory, trains, military. It's like, okay, this is just buzzwords for ideas.
Yeah,
it's like that I didn't like, but it was just so annoying that the castle segments you go to a castle every so often, and it's always to represent like the inner struggles with Dracula or whatever. So like he's fighting against like Carmela, which he killed before, and she's like, "You're not as good as you were in the past, so I'm gonna like kill you and take over." Whatever it was, whatever story. Like the castle shit made no sense, and I didn't care. It was like at least the castle stuff is fun, but nothing made sense in that whole thing story wise. But it's like this could have been a game, but you decided to focus more on the factories. It's like, why?
What are your thoughts on the Legacy of Kain series?
I think I've seen it, and I didn't really care what I saw, but I never played them.
It's kind of fun, but the thing that gets me about it is it has this insane convoluted story that involves like time travel and shit, and like, yeah, it's like,
oh man, that makes you think of Bayonetta, because Bayonetta 1 and 2 are those two games just fuck around with time. Like, it's to the point where if you try to make sense of the story, you'll go crazy. Like,
well, that's Legacy of Kain is told through 6 games, I think, and it's like in the first game, you're just this guy who gets murdered. Like these fucking guys just jump you and kill you. You get revived as a vampire to go and murder all those guys. And then in the second game, you're a different guy. You're like a servant of Kain, who he murders you, and then you have to go and try to kill him. But then, at the end of that game, you get sent back in time or something. And then eventually, you, like, I don't know how it happens, but eventually you and Kain, like, the guy, his name's Raziel, Raziel, the guy in the second game that gets killed by Kain, it ends up being them two trying to bring Kain back to life as a human or something. It's like the story is insane.
That does not sound nearly as bad as Bayonetta.
Well, I'm very much oversimplifying it. I'm probably just wrong, but like it's just like it all gets so convoluted where it's like it starts off as like you're enemies, but then you end up on the same side, even though like it'll end up killing the other guy because he'll like never exist or something. But it makes no sense. But you're like trying to save the world together somehow. It's ridiculous.
They played because like with Bayonetta, it was more just like. Because in the first game, I think you get, like... My god, I think the final boss has, like, the other eye that you're trying to get to the whole time. Well, Bayonetta has the right eye, he has the left eye, whatever.
Right.
So you finally meet up with him, and he's like, oh, whatever. Then you go to the second game, it's like, oh, well, Bayonetta has 2 eyes now. Okay, but it has the 2 eyes, whatever. But now you find out, like, this other... It's so, like, it hurts my head. Like, I can't even describe it. Like, you at least was able to describe Legacy of Kain. I can't even begin to describe like the nonsense that 2 introduces to loop back to 1.
Again, very oversimplified though. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
It's pretty much like In short, the only way it gets simplified two would be that the one of the heroes of two is the villain of one. Like he becomes the villain of one, pretty much. Like
which is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Maybe it's similar stories because I still haven't played Bayonetta 2. I'm thinking about actually buying a Switch. I might just do it. Because especially like soon, I'm not gonna have any time to fucking play video games. So
then you have Bayonetta 3, and that game is probably gonna fuck up the timeline even more because people are already theorizing that like, oh
I
well,
just think it's set in the past, right? It's pretty cool.
That or like alternate time because like Bayonetta's design is
she looks younger.
She looks well. It's not even that. Just like she has the same hairstyle as like Cereza when like that little girl in Bayonetta 1. It's like so maybe she grows up in this one. Then Bayonetta for Bayonetta 1 or 2 is gonna like show up as well. So it's like because a lot of people are saying it's weird that she's also not voiced by the same voice actress. So it's like
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice it either. I had to rewatch. It's like it's kind of different, but it's like so that's why a lot of people are just like wondering like
maybe she just didn't want to do it.
But like the
or maybe they just didn't want to pay her.
I don't know because like she's iconic with the series and she loves the character on top of that. So it's not like she wouldn't want to do it. And I also don't think that she would like be like, all right, $1 million or anything. Like I don't think she'd do that either for it. So I just think every Japanese game that changes the voice actor is always for another reason. Like Persona 5 did that too with Igor. It's like everyone was saying like, oh, the voice sounds different. Why? And everyone's like, well, maybe the original voice actor didn't want to do the voice. Maybe he moved on. The end of Persona 5, that wasn't the real Igor. It's like, oh, okay, so.
Wait a second. Okay, I'm trying to think of other voice actors, which is obviously there's Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. That one was just Kojima's love for movies, probably.
But I mean, isn't it? Well, no, yeah, right. It's not a different character. It's the same character.
Yeah, I mean, even the real big boss in that game is voiced by not Richard Doyle, Kiefer as well.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Though I would argue, like, MGS4 has Richard Doyle play as a big boss, so it's like, okay, maybe, like, Kiefer's, like, that voice that bridges the transition. The only thing that kind of throws a wrench in that is Peace Walker had David Hayter, which was set in 75, and then
right after,
Ground Zeroes is like 76. It's like, oh, okay, but I still like that theory a little bit more. But
but David Hayter's voice is so different.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell in Peace Walker, it was kind of a struggle because they made it really gravelly, so it's like. It's like, oh my god, this guy is
so exaggerated.
Yeah, it was like, this is trying way too hard at this point.
Aren't they actually making a Metal Gear Solid movie? Isn't like Oscar Isaac in it?
Yeah, but I don't believe until I see a trailer, so it's
true.
Because they've talked about this movie for decades. Like it's just
it's gonna
come out.
So
I think I was gonna say
final thoughts on Deltarune.
I'm interested to play more of it, so it's not. So I'm curious to get a better opinion next week, and hopefully I'll get into 2 by that time as well.
Yeah, so. I think by next week I'm gonna have 2 finished.
Yeah,
because it's short. Again, it's short. They say it takes 4 hours to beat part 2.
Okay.
So, and I'm pretty sure it only took me 2.5 to beat part 1. But that is, I do have experience with Undertale, which is very similar, so that might make it easier for me to get through it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see you guys next week. I think Tuesday will still work.
So
Tuesday.
No, I gotta do Monday next week.
Monday, okay. Monday will work.
All right, we gotta raid a Deltarune room, right?
If that's even possible. I mean, who's playing Deltarune?
Probably a lot of people. It just got released, right? Like that was like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago it got released on Switch.
Yeah, but are they really playing that, or they might just be playing Metroid?
Let's see. Undertale has lots of fanboys. I don't think you know. See, it came up.
All right. Floppity Penguin. Yeah, there we go. He has a bear on his screen. So looks good.
We had 2 viewers. Let's go, baby. Hit the rain, baby. Thanks, everybody. Oh, we didn't do the bye-bye.
Oh well.
Whatever.